Look at the hole on the side.
You see it?
Yeah, that
it
actually
literally hurts. Let's go.
It's go time.
You're gonna make me cry.
It's okay. I'm gonna cry. Hello, dudes, dolls, and divas. Welcome back to another episode of Baby Talk. I am your hostess, Baby Boy, and this is a podcast where I invite my super sickening besties to sit down, kiki with me, and showcase their very unique talents. And today, we have a world-class drag entertainer. She is a political powerhouse and a mother to many. She is one of the biggest names and two of the biggest titties in the Texas drag universe. Please show some love for my sister, Brigitte Bandit.
Yes. Hello.
Hi, sister. How are you?
I'm good. How are you
Good.
doing?
I'm good. The traffic was whooping my ass a little bit. She got me together a bit, so I'm a little bit like, ansias. Sorry for showing up late. Sorry, y'all.
No, it's okay. I knew you were gonna be late,
Right.
so I was like, I can definitely take my time, but I didn't expect you to be that late.
Oh.
But it's okay because everybody knows I'm late too, and it's kind of nice to know that there's a diva who's always gonna be
just a little bit later. Fuck. Well, I know that's kind of like synonymous with the name Baby Boy at this point. I'm trying to get better at it. That's on my resolutions this year.
You know, I think I've just accepted that I am not good with time management, you know, because like even if I set aside extra time for me to get ready, like I'm going to use all of it. I'm going to get distracted. I'm going to change the playlist like 5 times. I'm going to go pet my dog versus like whenever I only have like an hour, I'm like, okay, I got to focus.
Yeah,
you know,
literally.
so it's just like no matter what I do, I'm just going to be late.
That's
it. It is what it is.
It's truly. That last 30 minutes leading up to me leaving the house is like where I get maybe 60 to 70% of the outfit done.
Right.
I'm like, bitch, if I had this urgency from the beginning, we could have been in and out of here. Like,
exactly.
Girl, I'm trying to get it together.
I feel that.
But I'm glad that you're here.
Me too.
I feel like I haven't had an opportunity to really like talk to you in a long time.
I know it's been a while.
Yeah, I know. Like a few weeks ago, we kind of like hung out a little bit outside of Chirp Charlie's. Girl, I was 2 sheets to the fucking wind. I'm pretty sure I had my shoes off. Like 3:30 a.m. Just us and the girls sitting out there and like catching up. But I'm glad that this is sort of like a longer sit down thing because you've had a motherfucking year.
Yeah,
You've had a big year.
I've had a few years. I think at this point, the last couple years, I feel like have been the craziest. It's kind of just like been like, a lot.
Go.
Yeah, I know. I was like, oh my gosh, it's already 2025, and things just keep happening. You know. Mm-hmm.
How do you feel now that? I was going to say said and done, but not done, but just said.
Well, yeah, I think, enough time has passed that, like, I'm able to kind of look back on these past few years of especially, like, my drag career and where it's taken me and what I've done with it and kind of analyze it a little bit more because, like, whenever it was happening, it's kind of just, like, you're just doing it, you know? And there is no... it's kind of hard to look out at it from like an outside perspective or like even ask yourself like, is this really what I want to be doing? You know, it's kind of like I just had to do what needed to be done at the time. And now I'm kind of looking back on things and being like, okay, you know, what was right? What can I do better? And what do I want for myself? You know, because I feel like it's kind of just taken me on this journey where I'm like, is this even really what I want to be doing? You know, but I've learned a lot. I've had a lot of fun. Are you kidding me? Like the past few couple years, like I've had a lot of really cool opportunities. Obviously, like it's also been a lot of like fighting the government, and that's exhausting. But I've had a lot of really cool opportunities and met like so many interesting people and stuff. So it's just been kind of a whirlwind of so many different things. And we're gonna come back to that about what you said. Is this even what I want to be doing, or how you feel, you know, going forward? But just for context, for anyone who's unfamiliar or just becoming familiar,
First of all, and above everything, you are an excellent drag entertainer, period.
Yes.
Like, always high energy, always like polished head to toe. Truly like one of those divas, not in just Austin, but Texas, who is like creating spaces, giving opportunities to the newer artists. And we're going to talk about your show also. But I think what really pushed you to a wider platform was in 2023, was it? Or 2023, you spoke at the Texas State Capitol for in opposition of the drag ban. What is it, SB 12?
Yeah, that was SB 12.
SB 12, and your testimony really went viral. So much so that you were on Times Magazine's top 100 most powerful images of 2023. That is motherfucking huge. Since then, you've done a live interview on CNN. You've done hella interviews for different media outlets. You have spoke at the Texas Democratic Convention. You've had positive reception from the masses, including Dolly Parton. And you've had negative reception from the masses, including Ben Shapiro. Which, by the way, fuck him.
Yeah.
Who really gives a fuck about Ben Shapiro? Like, anyone who was like, oh, Ben Shapiro's the man, I'm like,
yeah, I'm like, ew.
What are you going through? It's his voice for me. I'm
no,
like,
literally, I can't even look at him.
Yeah. So it's a lot. And we were talking at Cheer Up Charlie's a few weeks ago about how, like, you know, when you accept a platform that's so big, of course, there's so much positivity that comes from it. But then at the same time, it's like you're opening a channel for so much negative energy to come through, especially in the world of politics, because that's like a different type of hate. Like, it's something that's like driven by like personal feeling and like life experiences. And I've watched your interviews and I've heard you say how you've been doxxed and you've feared for yourself at certain moments. And it sounds very draining.
Yes. Yeah.
I know you say that you're glad you do it. And I feel like if not you, then who would do it? You know what I mean? And I feel like maybe some people have thoughts about like, oh, why does Brigitte get this, I don't know, platform, I guess, for speaking on political things? But if not you, then who would do it? You know,
right?
And you, yeah. How do you feel about that? Can you expand any?
I think that like for me, it was an unintentional thing, right? So the very first time I went to go speak at the Capitol, it was just that I knew I had a point that needed to be heard, and it was a point that, you know, with the way that the bill was written, it wouldn't affect me, but it would affect my community, and that was important to me. To, you know, go and poke holes in their logic and be like, fuck y'all, what the fuck are y'all doing? You know? And show just how absurd their logic is, right? So, but I didn't think that it was going to go viral the way that it did, right? It literally was like worldwide news. Like I literally saw it on like outlets like in other countries. People loved it, you know? And you start there where like it was a lot of people were very excited to see a drag queen, and kind of how poised I was. I didn't really push too much of the boundaries other than being in like hot pink gown and drag, right? And then so that there was like a lot of love that came from that initial reaction, right? But the more that I've been involved with politics, the more, you know, you're gonna say things that are gonna be a little bit more controversial, and things all of a sudden this platform you have, people are gonna push back on you whenever you say things or do things or anything, and people are gonna have questions and stuff like that. And so obviously as my platform has grown, I've gotten the attention, a lot of really positive responses, but I've also gotten a lot of really negative responses. And I've had people, you know, just, I've been doxxed on the internet, right? So Protect Texas Kids posted my personal information. They have a personal vendetta against me because once I reshared it to my followers, they reported it and they got their whole account taken down. Yes.
Work, little bandits.
But now, right, the little bandits. Okay. No, that was really amazing. That was so cool, because whenever that happened, my immediate reaction was like, okay, you know, I've gotten so big, I'm getting the attention of like literal Nazis. You know, like these people are dangerous. It's very scary. Whenever I saw that post being shared, like my immediate reaction was like, I want to deactivate all my social media. Like I am scared. I am nervous. And then I realized, I was like, oh, that's what they want me to do. Mm-hmm. That's what they want. Like, the reason why they're going after me is because I do have so much power and a voice and a platform. Yeah. And I'm able to utilize it very well, and very well against them, you know? So instead of hiding, I was like, well, I'm just going to put this out there. Yeah. And I'm going to trust that my community and my following and the people who have my back are going to show up for me. Mm-hmm. And they did. And that showed me that like it is really important for somebody to be visible and public. Mm-hmm. And I also understand the risk that entails. And I also talk with so many people who do a lot of behind the scenes work, right? Because you have your people who are on the front lines who are going to be as vocal as they are, people like me, right? Yeah. But you also have a lot of people who do a lot of behind the scenes work who necessarily they don't want to be putting themselves out there like that, but that work is just as important as being in the front lines, and we all work together to make it possible, right? And I feel like especially that example of everybody reporting this account to get it taken down, Protect Texas Kids organized a lot of the anti-drag protests in Texas. All of a sudden their platform is taken down because they went after a drag queen. Like that's iconic, you know, like that's really important, but it also it is scary to a point, you know? So I think that's why I continue to speak out and be visible and be public is because like I'm already in it. I understand the hesitations of why others would not want to. And I also understand the danger that you put yourself in when you do those things. And so as much as it is fun to have a big platform and following and stuff in the political landscape, it also, as a drag queen in Texas, you put yourself in a lot of danger. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I remember we were saying how you feel like you especially have maybe some leverage as a representative for people because of the fact that you are AFAB, assigned female at birth for anyone who doesn't know, and passing white skinned, which gives you like a certain ability to speak and for people to receive the information, I think, a lot easier. And you're kind of like at this cross point where like you are able to make these big waves and put these big statements out and people can grab onto it. And so like your representation and the way that you speak for people in Texas is not only important, but super, super appreciated. And I can't understand anyone coming at you in a weird way about that when I can't see anyone else taking on that role and it being as effective, you know?
I think it's very important for me to use my privileges to speak in whatever ways I can. Yeah. Obviously, like I think it's really important to have enough voices speaking and being heard so that everybody's voice is heard, right? Like obviously like my experience is not going to be the same as everybody else's, right? But I think I'm able to recognize that, and I'm able to say, well, there are so many people who, you know, have a lot more issues and hesitations that are rightfully so to do these things, right? Like, I don't know, like I feel privileged and like I speak a lot on trans rights, right? As a non-binary AFAB person who I have never taken hormones, you know, I am not necessarily personally concerned about getting gender affirming care, but I understand the importance for people who do need that, like life-saving medical care, right? I'm going to stay in Texas and fight for those people who need that care, because I'm privileged in a way that I don't need it. I don't need to go to a state where you need to go because you're not able to access it here, right? And there's going to be a lot of people who don't have that option for themselves either. So I think that it is really important for the people who are able to stay in Texas and still take care of themselves to stick up for those who can't or aren't able to properly, right? So I do recognize my privileges, and I also do understand that my voice is not, it's loud, it's powerful, but there's so many other voices in the community as well that,
And I want you to understand, like, although your presence is powerful, I think it's very important that, like, you recognize that you are a blessing to, like, the Texas queer community. So you should, like, take time to, like, feel how you feel and, like, not have to feel like, oh, I need to be on at all times, like on the outside, like presenting myself, because that's a scary thing. And that like,
you're gonna make me cry.
It's okay. I'm gonna cry also. Because you're a human being at the end of the day, and although it's appreciated, you should take a step back if you feel like you need to.
Yeah. I think that's one thing I've learned is, like, you know, you said, well, if you don't do it, who will? Our community's always going to have each other, no 100%. Matter what. And I think that that's something that I've recognized is, like, yes, I'm going to show up when I can, but I can also rely and lean on my community members to show up for whenever I can't do it, because I have learned that I am a person and I'm not able to do everything all the time. But that's why it's important that we do things together, right? And you empower other people to be able to do those things, right? That's why I think education, learning, doing things like BTBD, empowering others, inspiring others to show up is just as important as showing up yourself, because you're not going to be able to do it all the time.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Well, thank you.
Yes. Well, thank you. Oh, my God. Make me cry already. We're
sorry.
only like 10 minutes in.
And, so this interview, I don't want this to be too much of a political dive, you know? I know that you have done so many, like, we were just saying how you have done so many, like, political press interviews. And I think people need to, like, connect with what's underneath Brigitte, like, take the hood off a little bit and understand you as an artist. So I kind of want to get into that a bit.
Okay.
First of all, I want to talk about how we met.
Yeah,
because I feel like it's kind of magical.
No, it is. It is so magical. It was the very first night that I ever went out and drag.
I know. That is crazy, y'all. I met Brigitte the very first night they went in drag. That feels like such a crazy, like, intersection. I feel like our lives were kind of meant to, like.
No, literally, I think so. I remember, like, being like, oh my God, it's street queer.
No, literally, guys. I used to go by the name Street Queer. Ooh, that doesn't even roll off the tongue cute.
It was before Brigitte, too, remember?
I know, Brigitte.
I was Cherry Lake. Cherry Lake and Street Queer.
That's scary.
Oh, my God. What a moment in time.
What a fucking moment. Okay, we met at, there was a producer that used to live here in Austin named Anita Obasi. Shout out to Anita. I hope they're okay. I haven't spoke to them in a while. But I feel like Anita was one of the first people in Austin to, like, introduce a ballroom function to the city. And it was definitely very kiki. Like, it was more of a party with ballroom influence than, like, a ballroom.
Yes.
Like a ball, you know?
Yeah.
So there was a kiki ball. And I was on the judges panel, so Kiki. Let's preface, ballroom girls, do not come for me. I was on the panel, and you walked Sex Siren.
Did I walk Sex Siren?
I think so.
I think I walked Best Dress.
Oh, period, okay.
Because that's what I won.
Okay, period. Yeah. Okay, then you walked Best Dress.
Uh-huh.
And you looked so good. I remember thinking, like, oh my gosh, this person is a fucking star.
Yes. Oh my God, I loved what I was wearing. I was wearing this, like, sheer pink jumpsuit.
Yeah.
And it was a halter top that went over my tits just so beautifully. Like, and I wasn't wearing a breastplate yet. Obviously, I just had my little titties. But remember, I pulled my tits out the very first time I walked. Like, literally, like the very first time I went out in drag, Brigitte had her tits out. Okay, it's just like
it's always been a part of the journey.
It's literally always been a thing. It's not just like some shtick. It's like I really do just want. I just wanted to have my tits out, and now I have them out all over Texas. But yeah, that was so much fun. I remember just having like the time of my life, and I felt so cute. And I had the big pink feather boa too. Yes. And I had the long, oh my God, I remember it so well.
No, paint a picture for them.
Long pink, like light pink, straight wig, because I liked the Cher silhouette. So I liked the long Cher, like, and I kind of liked the pink Cher. My makeup was inspired by Cher too, but it was like not as big as it is today. You know, I was just trying to figure out how to glue my eyebrows down. But Savannah was with me too, my sister.
I know.
Remember? You remember meeting Savannah?
Yeah.
My sister. And
mom,
that was such a good time.
Your mom is such an icon. She's such a queen. I love her. And Cher is obviously a big part. Cher and Dolly Parton are both huge influences for you, right?
Yes. Yeah. Cher and Dolly were actually my first 2 concerts ever. So Cher was my first concert ever because my mom won a Cher lookalike contest.
Yeah.
And
she really does look like Cher. It's kind of gagging.
Yeah, no, she used to be a Cher impersonator. So she used to do it. She actually won against Erica Andrews. No, she didn't win. Oh my God, don't put that on her. She didn't win. She lost a Cher impersonating competition to Erica Andrews. She came in second to Erica Andrews.
I
think still iconic. Okay,
that is iconic.
To Erica Andrews. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, so my mom was doing drag with the drag queens. Got herself tickets for me and my sister to go see Cher. And that was the very first concert I ever went. They even got a limo for us. Literally, we pulled up to the Cher concert in a limo. I'm like 6 or 7 years old, like yes!
In the limo.
But I remember seeing Cher and like literally shedding a tear. Like she was such a big inspiration for me. And then Dolly was my second one ever. Yeah. And I was less familiar with her than Cher. So like whenever we went, I was like, I don't know who this lady is really. But I loved her. I love how Dolly does her storytelling in her shows, you know, because she sits there and she'll tell a whole story and then she'll go into her next song. And the way she just carries herself and speaks is so, I remember that about her show that I really enjoyed. And I like to joke that since those were my very first concerts, that's why I'm a drag queen today. The power of the divas made me a queen. Yes.
So is Dolly the reason why the boobies are such a relevant thing in your drag, or what brought the boobies to your drag? What brought the
boobs? That's a really good question.
And what is it like? Obviously, it gives you like a certain power, right?
Yeah, I think so I've always been kind of like boobs were the way that I could figure out if somebody was a man or a woman whenever I was a kid. Yeah. Because learning the gender binary for me was very difficult. Like I could not tell who was a man or a woman. So I was like, I need like something that is like obvious on the body, you know, as a kid that you can see. And for me, that was breasts. So my stick figures, literally in kindergarten. Yes, all the girls had big circles.
Oh my God, you're that now.
Like the big my mom was a stripper growing up, so she had these big fake boobs, right? So that probably was part of that, right? Yeah. But she went to our little like open classroom, whatever. You go visit the teacher and stuff, and they have all the drawings on the board.
And they're like, "That's my dog."
That's the one with the big circles is of course, Brigitte. So I'm kind of like. That was kind of always, and I've always looked at like breasts not as inherently sexual, just like part of the human body or whatnot, right? So, and I've just always thought that, you know, the feminine figure is so beautiful. And so I was so excited when my breasts grew in, and then I was so sad when they stopped. But I love my little titties. I love my body. They're like pretty. I am very comfortable with myself. It wasn't like that my entire life, but at this day right now, very comfortable with my body, right? Yeah. But in drag, I just wanted the big tits, but I had never seen another AFAB assigned female at birth, female drag queen, locally wearing a breastplate. So I think the way that I kind of got into it was through impersonation work. I would do Elvira. So the very first time I wore a breastplate the very first time I wore a breastplate was for my drag competition. But I got all padded and breastplate and everything. And that was just kind of like, but for me, what I wanted to do in my drag was I did an Elvira impersonation. I got the tits. And that's just clicked for me. You put the tits on. But I did it as Elvira, and then I did it as Dolly. And then whenever I said, okay, well, I want to go ahead and use it for my drag, I was kind of nervous. I was like, what are people going to say? And I got some questions that were like, well, where do your tits go if you're putting... I'm like, there's a reason why I'm wearing these big rubber tits, okay? It's not because I have my own underneath.
It's so interesting also because I feel like the breastplate just like... confuses people for some reason.
It does.
Like,
it does.
I think that you present feminine, I think, regularly. But for some reason, when you put the breastplate on, people think, is that a man?
No,
you know, like
it's really funny. You reach a certain level of like
feminine. Where it's like this is a man trying to be feminine.
Well, okay, I've watched so many Dolly Parton interviews online, and I kind of got into like this weird like territory where they were saying this weird stuff, and I was like, what are they doing? They were trying to suggest that Dolly is actually a trans woman, and that's why she's never had kids, and that's why she has the silhouette that she has, and it's like literally, it's like if you become a certain level of cunt, people are going to think like something else is going on. And but that's really funny. I mean, but that's the point of like why my testimony went viral and stuff is because whenever I'm in drag, people assume that I'm a male when I look this gorgeous.
Okay, man. Oh no! Don't cut to me now.
But I think that's funny, and the breastplate does confuse people, but that's why I like to take it off. So I'll take off my breastplate in the middle of my shows. I've cut off my breastplate before. I've
when you
taken it off. Yeah, and I think it's so fun to have like the titty into titty reveal. Yeah. And I think it also kind of gets people to think. I've had people think that I was a trans woman because my tits are so small. Yeah. And it's kind of funny to watch people's face like, what? Because they're not expecting another pair of tits under, and they try to make sense of it in their head. So it is a lot of gender fuckery. Nobody kind of knows what's going on here, And even when I have explained like that I am somebody who's born female, right? I've had like the Daily Man was like, she claims she was born female. Like,
but we know the truth.
They don't. Yes, and I've even had like far right websites literally use my very first photo on my Instagram, like years and years and years ago, is of me as a kid. I had a short haircut and I was mistaken for a boy all the time. Yeah, and I have that on there, and they put it on there, so they scroll through my entire Instagram feed to find one picture that they could try to argue that I'm male and put it in the article because it says Brigitte or Bandit, who's biologically male, and it had the link, and I was like, what is this gonna link to? And to that very first photo from literally like a decade ago on my Instagram, I was like, oh, they had to dig deep because they know exactly what they're doing. And what does it fucking matter if I was? Yeah. Like, I don't think that changes anything. I still am who I am. Yeah. And nothing I do is inappropriate around kids. Yeah. They're just so fucking stupid. And then also, oh my God, I'm going to rant about this a little bit. I think that it's so funny because they'll sit there and they'll argue against gender affirming care for minors. And something like a haircut is gender affirming care for minors, right? You are sitting there arguing that I am a male child simply because I have a short haircut. You are literally like, what the fuck are y'all doing? They're so anyway, yes. Yeah, so people think I'm a man all the time. And yes, the titties do aid in that illusion of them thinking that I am male under here. Yeah. But I don't know. I think that, we see a lot more AFAB female queens wearing breastplates now. Yeah. And so anybody can wear rubber tits.
Period. How do you think your reception is in the drag community? Not now, but when you first started as an AFAB?
Well, when I first started, there was definitely not as much gender diversity as we see today.
Yeah.
You know, literally you go to any drag show, or most drag shows have a level of gender diversity that you would not see whenever I started like 6 years ago, right? And so it felt a little isolating and nerve-wracking, you know? I'm really so grateful that the very first time I ever went out in drag was to that event that we did together.
Yeah.
I really am, because I sit there and I think I know the way that I was treated like on 4th Street, and I was like, if that was my very first time in drag, that might really have like turned me off from going to try it again. But because I had such an amazing time that first time, I ended up in an actual queer space rather than like a space that's mostly cis gay men, you know. It really empowered me in a way that I don't think the bars on 4th Street would have. And so I'm really grateful that that is where I ended up with you know, like, I'm like, yes. But but on 4th Street, you know, the very first time I auditioned for a baby queen competition, they were like, come back later, come back another time. I don't think, I really did have to fight to be taken seriously. People just kind of didn't take me seriously, you know, for a while. And I just had to keep going. And whenever I felt frustrated or whatnot, just, you know, if you can't go straight ahead, go around the corner. You know, you got to find your own way. And you just got to, and then once I found my own way, pave the way so that it's easier for other people
100%.
like me to get up there too, you know? So, I think it was a challenge. It was a struggle, but I do think that I am very grateful for the Austin community. I do think that there are people here who gave me opportunities that I probably would not have found in a lot of other cities, you know? So as much as I have my frustrations, I do, I am happy that I'm here.
Yeah. And I love that you're in Austin, because I feel like this is kind of the perfect city for like diverse queer artists to really sort of take off and find their community.
Yes, definitely.
And you do like very important work for the younger, or not even necessarily younger, but new drag artists here in Austin with your show, BTBT, Big Tits, Bigger Dreams. How long have you been doing that for? And what was like the catalyst that was like, oh, I need to do this right now?
I was like, how long have I been doing it for? I think I've been doing it for about 2.5 years now.
Yep.
And I just kind of looked at the open stages in Austin, the open drag stages, and it's all the same thing. You know, you sign up, the winner by applause gets $100, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, that was very frustrating for me as a drag artist getting started, because I feel like I found my success not through trying to compete with others in the community, but wanting to appeal to an audience, wanting to do what was true to me. Honestly, I found most of my success comes from whenever I am just true to myself. I'm not trying to appeal to an audience, a person, another drag queen, a judge, or anything, right?
Yeah.
How do I give up-and-coming drag artists that freedom to be able to do that without trying to compare yourselves to everybody else? And so that's why I did BTBD. And then also, how do you compensate drag performers so that you have all these newer drag performers coming in to get started? One person's walking away with $100.
Yeah.
How can I properly compensate everybody who wants to be a part of a drag stage without, not financially, because that's too much. You know, I'm not going to be able to properly pay everybody on a drag stage as big as BTBD. But what I did is I hired a photographer so they get professional photography for their drag. Because I remember getting started and somebody asking for a promo shot, and I was like, oh, I don't have one of those.
Anything,
you know? And so I was like, what can I do to give people the resources to get started in drag and also explore themselves however way they want to?
The perfect jump start. Also on the Cheer Up stage, like that's such a big stage. Great lighting, great sound, great like just the tech requirements and needs are all there.
Yes.
So that like they can just shine. And every time you do it, it is a long show. Like you will have like 30, 40.
Oh, I pack them in. Like literally. So every month I text Maggie, the owner of Cheer Ups. I'm like, Maggie, what time do you need me off stage the latest? Because I will pack in as many drag performers as I can within my time allotted to me, because the scene is just blossoming. You know, there's so many drag performers. BTBD fills up within an hour every time. I have signups open all at the same time so that it's fair to everybody.
You do it the same day?
I do it, the Thursday before. First timers though can DM me for a spot. Okay. If you want, you get guaranteed.
You
spot,
hear that,
okay?
kids?
Come on, first timers, come do drag. Come on. And so the first timers get priority, and then all the rest of the spots goes to people who've done it before. Mm-hmm. And so it is kind of like a little race against the clock of them. I know they have their alarm set to sign up for BTBD, but it fills up so fast, and I hate having to turn people away from it, from the space, you know. But also, like, if not, we would be there all night. Okay, it would be a long show, but it is really fun. So it normally goes about 2.5 hours, and it is just like drag performer after drag performer after drag performer after drag performer, random Brigitte rant, more drag performers. Okay, but it's so much fun. Like the newer drag performers, they have. Also, their names are just Gen Z drag names. I'm like, what the hell? It's so funny. Sometimes I'm like, what the fuck is this person
what is the
going to
name?
bring? Oh my God. That is a really good question. There's one that was called Trinkets and Trash.
Okay.
Like that was cute. I liked that one.
That.
What else?
That paints a picture of what they're drag.
No, literally. Like, there's a new queen. Her name's Whoopsie Daisy. I think that's cute.
That's a cute name.
I think that's really cute and so much fun to say on the mic. They're just like literally so creative, and the things that they do on stage too. I'm like, what the fuck?
How did you think of this? Yeah.
It's really interesting. Yeah, we have such a diverse and blossoming drag community. It's really cool to that. I get like a front row seat to it every single month. Mm-hmm.
Period.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, work. Mm-hmm. Okay, y'all, we're gonna take a little bit of a break, and when we come back, we're gonna sit down and talk a little bit more with Brigitte Bandit. Don't go anywhere, bitches. Welcome back to Baby Talk. My name is Baby Boy. Just to remind everyone, if you haven't already, if you're listening to this on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you hear podcasts, please make sure you follow the podcast, leave a comment, leave a good rating. If you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe. I'm going to say it again, bitch. I know you hear me. Subscribe to the fucking channel, okay? But anyways, we are back with Brigitte Bandit. Hello.
Yes. Hello, did y'all subscribe?
Did y'all fucking
Did you fucking subscribe?
Don't piss me off.
Okay.
So while we were on break, a little bit of disaster struck.
Oh my God.
Tell them what happened.
I was on my smoke break at the Hooters.
She just got off of her
I just got off, serving some wings. And sitting there trying to enjoy my joint. Went to step out of my car, and something burned my ass, and my joint had fallen. And I sat on it, so my ass is on fire right now. It is honestly, I feel a little uncomfortable sitting here. That's what I get for smoking weed on the clock, I guess. God damn it.
Screaming.
I lost my job and burnt my ass.
She has a literal hole in her tights from the fucking burn. Show it.
Can you see it?
Yes, it's red. Oh my God, it's actually red.
Don't look at my pussy.
Look at the pussy. Just look at the hole on the side.
You see it?
Yeah, that actually
literally hurts. That's what you should start on social media with is Brigitte showing. Brigitte proves she's an AFAB queen on the Baby Boy podcast.
Today on the podcast, it is confirmed Brigitte is AFAB. We're seeing her burns coochie live and in living color right now.
Send that to Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Marjorie Taylor Greene, bitch.
You know, you could share a bathroom with me, okay? Just so you know.
Don't get scared, ho.
She would be scared.
Oh, yeah.
She'd be scared.
I would be scared. Not of you, of her.
I'd be scared too. No, I'd beat her with these rubber titties. Let's go.
It's go time.
We're practicing my moves. Okay. I'm feeling silly.
I know.
Ever since I burned my ass.
Too. I think it was the joint. I mean, I didn't hit it, but it woke it up. It woke it up. So we talked about it a little bit earlier when we started the podcast, but you were saying that this year you want to really step back into your creative aura You know, you've done a lot of work these last few years, but it's time for Brigitte to take the world in a different way, in a creative way, in a beautiful, expressive way.
Yes.
So what is that? How does that transpire? What is it gonna give? What are
I
you
don't know.
inspired by?
I'm like, excuse me. I miss just making art, you know? And I feel like a lot of my stuff has just been so politically involved and whatever. And then I also get booked for like a lot of Dolly stuff and then kid friendly. I'm like, I miss being a weirdo, drag queen. What have I done? Poured chocolate sauce on my titties. I feel like I just kind of got. Delicious. I feel like I got to a point where it was like I was so concerned about what's online that people can find of me that I kind of abandoned a lot of kind of the weird shit that I used to like to do because I am concerned about the way that the far right likes to use these images and use them against me, but. You know what? I'm like, I'm over it now. I'm like, I really, they can say whatever, they can do whatever, and it doesn't faze me. I know who I am, and I'm also allowed to be an adult person with my own shows and doing my own thing. I'm not doing anything inappropriate. They have to take it out of context. But it is sad how, like, even just that has affected my art, you know? And that's the point of why they want why they do what they do, right? Is to try to silence us. So I'm going back to being a weirdo. Yeah. I miss it. I just miss doing drag just for fun and doing whatever I want to do, and not. Whenever I was starting drag, I never had a concern about what was going to show up on Ben Shapiro's podcast, you know, or so be shared by Protect Texas Kids or anything like that. And so, but yeah, so I think I'm just ready to have fun again with drag, and I think that a lot of people. You know, they do follow me for like my political activism and stuff like that. Yeah. But
there's facets.
But I'm like, yeah, y'all gotta accept the weirdo drag queen along with the activist diva, you know, because I miss. It's funny whenever I post like my big ass rubber tits, like I lose so many followers, and I'm like, y'all are so weird. Like y'all really want to box me into like this like activist like. Drag queen that's always poised and whatever, and I'm like, sometimes I run around in a thong and rubber tits, you know, and you have to get on board with that too if you're gonna get on board with me, because
I think in the long run, like the people who really like follow you and fuck with you and like care about you and your art, like they're not fazed by any of those things.
Exactly, the people who actually who care about my art beyond and my person beyond just, you know, me yelling at Greg Abbott, right? But, and I think that's also fun for my shows too, is sometimes I'll be like, oh, do I want to be political? Do I not want to be political? And the audience kind of likes either one. So I don't really feel like I do feel like I do have a lot of supporters who, you know, they'll take whatever they can get. They just like to see me do whatever, you know, but yeah.
Do you think that like your persona in drag, obviously there's two sides to it. There's like a political side and then a fun, weirdo, crazy, big titty, thong up the booty drag. And then there's your like personal side. Is there like, do you feel like you box those into different compartments to like switch into to like help you tackle certain things? Or how much of Brigitte Bandit is your true identity when you're out of drag?
Oh, that's so funny. You know, I was having a conversation with a friend about this. We just went to San Angelo and they were telling me, they were like, I see Brigitte for you as like, it is kind of an outlet for you to just like kind of be true to who you are and express that to everybody, like versus like there's some queens who like they have like a separate persona or something. They feel like it's me amplified, you know. It's not necessarily like some kind of like character that I put on, and I do believe that, and I was like, okay, yeah, I can see what you're saying. It is me amplified in a way where it's like, you know, out of drag I'm also a loud, obnoxious bitch, you know, but I'm a little bit more shy and reserved. In drag, it's kind of like I can get away with a lot of things that I couldn't outside of drag, right? So Yeah, I think that Bridget really is me, you know, and I also think it empowers me to do things. That's why I kind of like, I went to the Capitol in drag.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's very empowering to be in drag.
Do you feel like you could speak at the Capitol or like take these big interviews without the drag?
You know, that's a good question. That's a good question. I've done certain interviews out of drag. Like I did another podcast with like the Austin American Statesman.
Yeah.
Outside of a drag. But honestly, I do think that like the reason why I even got into drag today is because it's so much more fun.
Yeah.
When I'm in drag.
Yeah.
You know? And I do think that I could do it. You know, whenever we went, I was also part of the lawsuit that blocked the drag ban.
Yes.
Part of the lawsuit that dropped the drag ban. But whenever I went to go speak to the judge there, I didn't go in drag. So but there was no like, you know, there was no cameras allowed in the courtroom. Yeah. But if you do Google kind of the lawsuit, you'll see me out of drag during that part because, you know. Yeah. I was wearing a blonde wig though, so I like to call it courtroom drag. It was very demure, very mindful. I didn't have these paper lashes on, and I left my rubber tits at home. Yeah. So even though the judge said they are free speech.
Yes, period.
But so yeah, I think I have done advocacy in and out of drag. I think I prefer being in drag though. Yeah. I think it is so empowering, and I really do think I like the way they say it amplifies my personality in a very, in a way that you can't really, people can't ignore me. Yeah. You know?
I agree. I feel the same way in front of cameras. Like sometimes I can't imagine myself doing something like this, not with like, you know, a little bit of a done upness. Yeah. Because then in my brain, I'm just thinking like, if this is not comfortable, like I don't know. But I guess that comes from a place of insecurity for me personally.
You think so?
Do you feel insecurities outside of your drag?
That's a good question. I feel like I've been in drag so much, so often right now that I am a little disconnected with myself outside of drag.
I love seeing you outside of drag because you're always so coy.
I know. I love doing. I used to really like doing like my out of drag looks and stuff like that. And I feel like I've just been so tired that I kind of abandoned like Brigitte outside of drag a little bit. But yeah, I feel like I'm getting back into it. That's been kind of a focus. That's like a focus on this year is kind of taking care of me outside of drag. And so like I just re-dyed my hair to my favorite color and trying to
Is it pink right now?
Yeah, it's back to pink because I went to purple for a little bit and I was like, it's just not me. I'm gonna go back to pink. I'm gonna start the year off right with pink hair and just trying to take care of myself outside of drag. I haven't gone properly clothes shopping for myself outside of drag in years. Like I'm literally wearing like the same, which is good, you know, like less consumption or whatever. But also it's like, well, who am I and what's my personal style and what do I want to wear? Because I don't necessarily want to be wearing the same thing I was wearing like 3 or 4 years ago, you know? So I don't know. It's so fun though, because I get to explore that about myself again. And I'm glad that I recognize that it needs to happen though, because I think it is really important to be confident in and out of our personas and characters like on stage or whatnot. Because I do think that like it can affect your artistry and your craft, and people can see it. I've been, anyway. But yeah, I think I do. Sometimes it is scary how much I feel a little bit more confident as Brigitte versus out of Brigitte. And I'm trying to get back to a point where I do feel confident as both.
What are some things you do for yourself, like outside of drag, that like helps you, I don't know, some like ritual things that like helps you find peace? Or I know things can be stressful. Is there a way that you're able to like reset?
Yeah. Well, I'm obviously a big stoner. So,
well,
I do smoke a lot of weed. And I really do. I like to get stoned and like especially like on the internet and stuff, just like unplug. Yeah. I really like to take my dog on walks. So like I'll put on like a cute playlist and just literally go like take my dog on a walk for miles around my neighborhood. Even my neighbors are like, I have to walk with you sometime. I'll see you all the way over there and then you're all the way over here. I'll just be walking around my little corgi with my pink hair and my headphones. And I think that really does help clear my mind, like in the thick of it. I like baths, you know.
Oh yeah, I need to take more baths.
No, baths are so wonderful.
Yeah,
I
not
love
that I
it.
don't shower. I mean,
I like to put like candles, and like just like I have like a little like shower or like bath time like a shelf that reaches across the tub, so I can have like my book and my drink and like whatever stuff I want to work on my phone or like, and I can just vibe in the bath and relax and so I don't know, walks, baths, what else? Smoking weed. A lot of smoking weed. That's what I do. I mean, I really do. And then I have my chinchillas. I like hanging out with my chinchillas. And then I
forgot you had chinchillas.
Yes, I have them.
So cutie.
Literally, I could hang out with them, and like time will just go right by, and I'm just like hanging out with my chinchillas.
Yeah,
I love.
Do you take them with you when you like travel?
No, and they're not travel pets.
Oh, okay.
They have to exist within a very specific temperature range, and especially here in Texas, like it's usually like way too hot to take them outside because they have such thick, dense fur.
Yeah,
you know, they can overheat. So chinchillas are high maintenance animals. They're staying home.
You've had them for a while. How old are they?
I've had my chinchillas about like 4 or 5 years, and they were rescues, and they were probably like a year or two old, so they're probably like 5 or 6, and I have 3 of them.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
that's so cutie.
They are literally so cute. Have you ever held a chinchilla before?
I've held your chinchilla, I think.
What? Did you come over to my house before?
I think when like at the beginning, yeah.
Did you? Okay, like whenever I first. Okay. Oh my god, my lips are chapped. What? That's so funny. Wait, you've been to my house before? I don't even remember.
I think I could have sworn I've met your chinchilla, but I don't know.
Okay.
If not, I'm going to have to.
Okay, well you have to. You have to come over anyway.
What music do you listen to?
Oh my god, that's a good question. I feel like I that's another thing that I've been focusing on is like I'm tired of listening to music just to figure out what I'm gonna perform.
Yeah.
Like I am so like I'm like God, I miss listening to music just to listen to music. And I'm trying to get back into doing that for myself and explore that. So I don't know exactly what it looks like. I've been just kind of listening to a ton of random stuff, trying to not listen to the same thing that I always listen to. You know? So
what do you listen to? A lot of Dolly Parton or like
right? I listen to like I'm a millennial, so I love like the early 2000s. That's why I perform a lot of the early 2000s stuff, and like I think also people like it right now, like the resurgence of the early 2000s like vibes and stuff. So and it also just makes me feel so good. Like I love like, oh my god, whenever I'm really going through it, like putting on Michelle Branch, like I love that shit.
Screaming
like
on Michelle Branch.
To me. Like, come on. Like, that song, just like, how can you not feel good listening to it? Like, I just love feel good music. You know?
She was here, in Austin. She was here like
yes,
not too long
I
ago.
went to her show. And we did a drag show after her show. And, I've hosted a lot of drag shows and a lot of different kinds of drag shows. Never would I have thought of all the drag shows that the drag show that somebody would break their leg at was Michelle Branch show.
Leg?
Somebody jumped off stage wrong and literally snapped their leg, like broke their leg.
I want to know what Michelle Branch song calls for someone to jump off of a stage and break their leg.
See, at the Michelle Branch drag show, that's what happened. She was drunk. She was really drunk. But I was like, oh my God. It was after the drag show, so I was already gone, and I was like, what was it? Anyway, that was wild. Anyway, I try really hard to break away from like my nostalgia and try to listen to current day artists. Okay. I watched Doechie's Tiny Desk concert. She's incredible. So I listened to her album from all the way through. Yeah. And I don't know who else.
How do you like the new pop divas, the new pop girls like Sabrina?
Okay, I do like Sabrina. I do really like Chappell Roan.
Yeah.
I really like Chappell Roan. Really inspires but that's music that I want to perform to in drag. But I also just love listening to it. Yeah. She's so much fun. And I like Sabrina Carpenter too. I wasn't sure about her until I started seeing her live shows, and her live shows just look so cute.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, who is this bitch? And I finally put the album on from start to finish, and she's so cute. Her aesthetic is just so perfect for her.
A cutie pie.
Yes. So I really like and obviously I love Charlie, but I've always loved Charlie. Like I literally like Charlie is just like, I remember like listening to How I'm Feeling Now, that album, over like COVID and just crying. Like she's just like, her music is so like, and then the lyrics are like, oh shit, she's talking about like serious shit. I love that. I think it's so, and her sounds, I don't know, I love her. So
yeah. She's insane. She's a mastermind.
No, she really is. She really is. Like, I'm like, what goes on in that head? You know, you ever listen to somebody who's like, you'd see somebody's art or do something where you're like, what the fuck is going on up in there? You know?
Speaking of, who are some drag artists that like are like gagging you right now? Do you have any like drag inspirations? I mean, besides the pop divas like Sharon. Dolly Parton. Okay, well, my favorite drag queens. I would say my top 3 favorite drag queens are. Ooh. Okay. Let this be very accurate.
All time. My favorite drag queen is Sasha Velour.
Oh, okay.
I love Sasha Velour. She's very smart. You know, like she's very intentional. And she has a lot of like depth and meaning in like a lot of her art and the way that she creates her numbers and stuff. I love. Oh my gosh, I can literally just be on YouTube and watch all of Sasha Velour's numbers that anybody's ever recorded of her. Yeah. And I would say that after is Sasha Colby. Love Sasha Colby, obviously. Like, so gorgeous. And the way she also carries herself and talks and treats other people. And then Bob the drag queen. Because Bob just cracks me up and is so talented. Yeah. Yes. Like their Snatch Game. Like I will never forget like watching. I came to RuPaul's Drag Race late. I had never seen an episode of RuPaul's Drag Race before I started doing drag.
Yeah. Wow. What season was that?
And so I think I started watching it whenever Evie Oddly won.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah.
So that was the very first season that I watched from start to finish. So then what I got into was the Snatch Games. I liked watching all the Snatch Games on YouTube. And then I was like, okay, well, now I need to know more about all of these entertainers. And I started watching the full episodes, and I really got into RuPaul's Drag Race. But I do remember watching Bob's Snatch Game and switching characters, and it gagged me. Like that literally is so like, funny. Oh my God. So incredible. So I would say those 3 are my favorite. On this new season, I didn't watch the first.
Yeah, I just watched them last night.
I didn't see the first half, but I did watch the second half. I really loved Lexi Love, of course.
Oh yeah, she's my favorite. I'm going for her.
Yeah, she's so cute in and out of drag. Yeah. Okay. And then Lana Jarre.
Yeah.
Am I saying her name right?
So cunty.
I saw her in New York perform in this time, and she was an incredible performer. So excited to see what she has to bring. I loved her look with her little booty poking out. I do. Her talent. I expected more because I had actually seen her and experienced her. The way that she performs IRL, I feel like it did not come across well on television. And I'm kind of, but because I have seen her IRL, I'm like,
you know, too.
Yeah, I'm like, I know there's more. Yeah. So yeah.
If you did Snatch Game, what would you do? Dolly?
That's a really good question. I don't think I would do Dolly. Yeah. Because I don't really I'm able to achieve the look of Dolly. I'm not really able to speak like her. Yeah. You know, like, I don't think I can.
Try.
I don't even know. It's Dolly Parton. I can't do it. I sound like I just can't. Okay, so I don't really have I need to do something that works within my voice because honestly, I'm not. This is what I'm working with. Okay, it doesn't go much up or down for me. So I honestly thought it would be funny to be like a man, you know? And I thought it would be funny to be Ted Cruz.
Oh, okay, that could be funny.
Like something I do think it would be funny to, just when things got uncomfortable or something, just pick up a suitcase and just like walk out,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
I mean, like I'm going to Cancun or whatever,
Yeah.
you know, like I think there's jokes in there that can be made about Ted Cruz. And obviously, God damn it, I'm always like, I want to be a weirdo. And then I get back to being political stuff. But I think that would, you
it's
know.
a perfect way to draw your world
It would be
in.
really funny. And also, I don't think they would expect like me to do like a king thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know, honestly. Maybe I would want to be, you know, nobody's ever done Elvira before. Nobody has, right?
Wow. No, I don't think so.
I think it would be really fun to do Elvira, but you would have to know every single one of her jokes because RuPaul and
diva.
Yes, best friends.
Yeah.
But I do know a lot of Elvira jokes. Like, you're not going to throw an Elvira joke at me that I don't know, you know? So I'm like, I do know that. So that was another one where it's like Elvira would be really fun to do because nobody's ever done her.
Yeah.
Or I guess technically I would have to be Cassandra Peterson.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But so that or, you know, there's, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Who do you think I should be? Do you have any ideas?
I think Elvira makes sense.
Yeah.
And I think you could really kill that. Besides Elvira.
Yeah,
I don't know. I've always wanted to do the Tiger King. What's his name?
Okay.
I think that would be hilarious.
Yeah, that would be fun. Did somebody do that?
No, not yet.
Really?
I think I've heard Cornbread say that she would do that too.
Oh, Tiger King would be good.
Because he's gay too. So
and it would be really, and that look would be really obnoxious to put together.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like visually, the mullet, the big ass eyebrow ring, the tiger print. Like, that would be fun.
That would be cute.
Have you applied? I know
to Drag Race?
Yeah. No, you haven't. But you've said that you wouldn't mind.
Oh, you know, I meant to apply this past time, and then, I just got distracted. I'm tired. Tired. Okay, so the first time, I've seriously considered applying for RuPaul's Drag Race the past 2 times. The first time of the last 2 times, so like the latest, that was when the lawsuit was happening.
Yeah.
I did not have time to prepare a RuPaul's audition tape
while
I'm preparing to go speak in federal court. Like, I just did not have time.
Yeah.
And then the second time, this most recent, I've just been tired.
Yeah.
And I also feel like I need more time again I've just put so much time into the political landscape, especially in the campaign season and stuff like that. I need to get back to focusing on my art again before I audition. Because I'm even like, what would I do?
Yeah.
Just, I can write a testimony, but I need to learn how to sew, you know?
Yeah.
So there's other things I need to do before I get there. But I do want to apply, I think. I think I will apply this next time.
Okay, well, y'all heard it here, y'all.
Book me, RuPaul.
Brigitte Bandit is coming for that motherfucking crown, and I'm ready to write the song for when you
please.
are performing
I need
it,
help.
Okay?
And help me. I need some voice lessons or something like that. I'm not a good singer. You know, my issue is I can carry a beat.
Yeah.
I can like hold a beat, right?
Yeah.
I have no sense of pitch, like up and down.
We're gonna do a rap verse, a sick.
Okay, I can see. I can do that.
It's gonna be country rap.
Country rap. Wait, that would be so fun.
That would be hot.
Okay.
Well, I'm excited to see what you do for the rest of this year. I'm excited to see you get back.
What are you gonna do this year?
Oh, I'm working. Well, on this podcast, I'm working on my original music. I'm working on me.
Things.
Yeah,
okay. Well, I thank you so much for having me on this podcast. I'm really honestly, I'm so honored that you invited me to be a part of it.
Of course. You're my sis, and I've been wanting to talk with you anyways, just catch up and pick your brain a little bit.
Yes.
And I'm so excited we talked about some things that I think people don't really have asked you in a minute, at least not on the record, you know?
I know, right? Yeah, we went through a lot of different things.
Yeah, I'm excited for your fans and followers and people who love you to see this and,
Me too. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to go put some cream on my ass.
Oh, yes, girl. Put some aloe vera or whatever you need on that.
No, I'm going to Chili's first. I know, right?
Go to Chili's.
God, I can't believe I did that.
Grab some ice out of the cup. And
I know, right? I would be in the Chili's in drag, with the ice in my fucking vagina. They're like, this is why they want to ban it.
Chili's.
Okay. Ma'am, this is a Chili's. Okay.
I was screaming. Well, thank you again for coming.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
Yes. Y'all, please go find Brigitte Bandit everywhere. Instagram, Twitter. It's what? At Brigitte Bandit?
BRIGITTE. TTE Bandit.
Bandits. And please, I'm not going to tell you again, subscribe to the fucking channel and share it, like it. I don't know. Y'all know what to do. Y'all have heard this from so many different people in your life, I'm sure. But thank you so much for being here. I love you so much. Until next time.
Yes. Bye.